right, folks. It's almost 4th of July, and just got a new bourbon whiskey to hit the dock here. It's the new Bob Dylan Heaven's Door whiskey, and they're starting with sourced material. I believe they're building a facility somewhere in Nashville, but wanted to take a look at this bourbon and see what it's all about. It's a Tennessee bourbon, which means there's really only two major distilleries in Tennessee: George Dickel, which is owned by Diageo, and Jack Daniels. So I don't think this is Jack Daniels. You would be able to tell almost instantly on the nose whether something came from that distillery or not. So this is more than likely made at George Dickel. They don't provide any detail in terms of, is it a different mash bill, or is it just some sourced of their regular bourbon that they make? They don't just make whiskey, obviously, for Dickel. There, they make lots of different whiskey that people have bought under contract or bought on the open market. Either way, at the end of the day, if you like George Dickel, you're probably going to like this. This is bottled as a 7-year at 90 proof. So I get like a kind of a cane syrup, a little bit of mint. Get like that horehound candy, if you've ever had that aroma. It sort of reminds me of like old candy shop, and like kind of like the sugar that collects along the glass jar of like a hard candy. A little bit of like licorice, and then vanilla. Definitely some oak spice in there for the 7-year. Give it a try. Mm. Mm. It's got that really prominent kind of licorice, horehound, rock candy in the middle. The oak spice is really nice and balanced. I'm a big fan of George Dickel whiskey, always have been. It's probably the most underrated, underpriced pour that's out there. This is a little more expensive. Obviously, the packaging is, there's a whole story here about these iron gates that Bob Dylan welds together, and this is what they look like on the label. It's a nice bottle. It's $54.99. You know, that's kind of in line with new premium releases, so that's not too surprising. The juice is fantastic. Obviously, they're sourcing it from a place that's been making fantastic whiskey for a long time. This is no exception. Whatever particular batch this is, it tastes great. Yeah, it'd be interesting to taste this, in a few years at like a 8, 9, 10-year-old. But I like the fact that this is 90 proof. It's really right in its strike zone, more than likely. So a little bit over ice, big rock would be perfect for this time of year when it gets nice and hot, and even hotter in Tennessee. So there we are, the Bob Dylan Heaven's Door bourbon. Cheers.